It's a very high grade VMS deposit, 5% copper equivalent at surface. I mean, these grades are remarkable anywhere in the world, and it's going to be a mine in a few years. The message is relatively simple. We've got a mineralized porphyry that we're going to be drilling.
When you say we, you're not spending a penny. You're fully carried for 20%, aren't you?
It's actually slightly better than that. We get paid.
Hello and welcome to Crux Investor. First of all, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. It'd be much appreciated. And do leave your comments below. It helps us understand the sorts of questions you want us to ask companies, how you think we're doing, and of course, what you think of the company. And for those of you who want to listen to the podcast, you can get that on cruxinvestor.com, along with an article and the transcription. And of course, for our Crux Club members, you have early access. And if you haven't already done so, please click the button in the corner of the screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, for more videos like this, click the notification bell. We spoke earlier today to Merlin Marr-Johnson, Executive Vice President at Salazar Resources. Now, Merlin's been on the show a couple of times previously, and we talk about mining in Ecuador off the back of a conversation we had with Lumina Gold this week. I think there's a little bit of market discount, and to me that says opportunity. So we discussed that. We also look at a press release which came out jointly between Adventus and Salazar this week, talking about one of the lesser projects. They've got an earn-in with Adventus on 3 of their 6 projects. So Cucumber is the big one, exceptional grades by any standard anywhere in the world. Looks like the second one, Pahili, is going to follow suit. They're chasing gold, copper, porphyries in what is quite prospective and highly fertile land. So take a look in the description below at the topics we discussed, anything that kind of catches your eye, click on the number beside that topic. It's called a timestamp, and that jumps you to that part of the interview. But enjoy what Merlin has to say. Merlin, how are you doing, sir?
Hi, all good, thanks.
Fantastic. Well, look, I thought I'd call you to talk about press release from Adventus. I just need to understand it because there's a lot of moving parts and it's also quite technical. But tell you what, do me a favor, could you give us that 1-minute overview of the Salazar Resources business so people know what we're going to be talking about, and then we'll get into that press release.
Yes, of course. Salazar Resources is a TSX-V listed exploration project generator company. We're an Ecuadorian company. Very Ecuadorian. The entire team is based in Ecuador, and Freddy Salazar is one of Ecuador's leading geologists. We've got 6 projects, 3 of which are fully carried by Adventus, and 3 of which are 100% owned exploration licenses that we're drilling. We're hunting big gold and copper targets in Ecuador.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for doing that. Like I say, I want to get into the press release, but I think it might be worth addressing something which is the Ecuador factor first, because we had an interview this week with Lumina Gold, and they talked about the kind of Ecuador discount. Okay, so you know that may or may not exist in you know several forms, but I think it's just about people understanding what the potential for Ecuador is. I mean, can you give us your view on Ecuador as a mining jurisdiction, please?
Sure. The thing to remember about Ecuador is it hasn't really had a proper mining industry at any stage, and there are 2 things. Well, three key things. One is that it's on a very fertile bit of geology. The Andes run through the western spine of South America. And in Chile and Peru, you've got these huge, rich copper deposits. You get these points in the Earth's crust where there's concentration in minerals, whether it's copper moly or copper gold or gold zinc. You know, there's a whole range of these minerals that are concentrated in key parts of the crust. And the Andes is one of those, and in particular northern Chile and in Peru. And the geology and the mineralogy runs across into Ecuador. So you've got the fertile geology, you've got the metal endowment, but you haven't had the minerals industry development, and that's been political. And now comes to the next key point, which is that the government has absolutely endorsed the mining industry. They've realized that it's crucial to their economy and to their ongoing development as a country. They are Ecuador is a dollar-based economy, so they can't print their own money. They need to generate it through foreign direct investment and sales of hard currency, foreign exports, or exports in hard currency, and that is mining. And the government has focused on mining as the key growth area. So that's why the mining code has changed, and then the response has been astonishing. You've seen all the big boys, all the major mining companies from around the world come into Ecuador. And so you've seen investments by BHP into the Sol Gold discovery up in the north. You've got Newcrest from Australia who have invested into Lundin Gold and into Sol Gold up in the north. Lundin Gold built the $1 billion Fruta del Norte last year. The Chinese spent more than $1 billion on the copper mine at Mirador. There's another Chinese development at Rio Blanco, which is another $1 billion development. You've got Anglo-American, Rio Tinto, First Quantum, all of the big boys looking for copper, looking for gold. They're all sniffing around Ecuador because the geological potential is there.
Okay.
So that was like an impassioned description of what's happening in Ecuador. So when you talk about the Ecuador risk, it's not seen perhaps as a risk from the mining companies. It's taking a while to come through. It's taking a while for these discoveries to be made. It's not an overnight process. But when actually you think that the country's really been open for mining for only 3 or 4 years, and you've got all these companies investing in exploration and geology, you've got 2 big mines which have opened up. Even modest little Salazar Resources. We made the discovery on the Curipamba deposit. It's a very high grade VMS deposit, kind of 5% copper equivalent at surface. I mean, these grades are remarkable anywhere in the world, and it's going to be a mine in a few years, 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Okay, and you're carried on that, of course, I think, to remind people. But just let's stick with the Ecuador component thing. But I think it's fair enough that, people don't, it's only, you talked about 3 or 4 years. So the big boys are ploughing in there, and there's billions of dollars going in. And we had this conversation with Marshall Koval about it at Lumina Gold. And, I can understand why the market is not there yet, because the track record up until this point with the socialist governments has been that we don't want mining, we don't want to ruin our ecosystems. But why the turnaround now? You give us some clues, but is this genuine? Is it sustainable?
I would say that the Ecuadorian government is totally serious about developing a responsible mining industry. They've been incredibly consistent over the last couple of years. There've been there's been a lot of active discussion of whether the environment should come first or indigenous rights, and the government has been consistently saying we need to develop a mining industry. We have an illegal, irresponsible, environmentally destructive mining industry at the moment, and we want to develop a responsible, well-regulated mining industry that's going to benefit the whole of Ecuador. It's absolutely a key part of the government focus, and they have designated the mining industry as a strategic industry. So there were a few sectors that were able to work through the coronavirus, and the mining industry was one of those. Exploration, as it happened, took the responsible route not to continue, so most explorers in the country, unless they could do it in an extremely isolated manner, stopped, but the mining industry continued. The government is totally committed to this, and it's apolitical now. In fact, the government that started looking at the mining industry or wanting to develop a responsible mining industry had previously been anti-mining and was very socialist. And there's irrefutable logic. There's no way that you can fund the country without having a responsible mining industry. So I would say that the Ecuador discount is on its way out. The number of discoveries, the exploration activity, the drilling that's going on, the companies that are there, the level of activity, the level of interest is such that Ecuador will continue to kind of shine brightly as a country for many years and hopefully in generations of mine development.
Okay. Well, look, we're keeping our eye on it. I mean, it's certainly a country which we think has got huge potential. And I think our view is, I think it's a discount to our investment. We're getting in cheap is the way that we view this. Got to back the right management team, of course, but that's the name of the game. Let's get onto this press release, because I saw it, I read it, very technical, and I wasn't quite sure what I should be pointing at. It feels to me they're saying, hey, you know that we've got 3 of Salazar's assets. Curipamba is the main one, but They were talking about, and I'm going to get this pronunciation wrong, is it Pahili? Are we going to go with that? Get close enough? Pahili.
That'll do.
Okay, right. So, but they were talking about that specifically, and I mean, the numbers look okay. I mean, to me, they look okay, but what were they trying to say with this?
The news release was, yes, it was a bit technical, but the message is relatively simple, which is that we think we've got a porphyry. We've got a mineralized porphyry that we're going to be drilling at Pihili. Remember that this license area was chosen by Salazar several years ago, and it's been worked up by the Salazars and subsequently by joint Adventus Salazar combo. We've got a coincident geochemical anomaly. So we've got a geochemical anomaly, we've got rocks, and we've now got geophysics over the whole thing. And we can see this standing out. And you can see on the surface, you can see porphyry, mineralized porphyry rock. I think and perhaps the key thing that didn't really come across in the news release that I'd like to emphasize for investors is to realize that actually its position is within a chain of known mineralized porphyry deposits. So where are we now? We've got just north of Pihili, there's a group of Mexico who've got a big asset there called Chalcha, and that's in advanced exploration. It's over 500 million tons. It's got decent grade. It's actually a copper moly porphyry, but being drilled out. That's an advanced exploration at the moment. About 8 kilometers north of that, you've got the Rio Blanco deposit, which is again close to 1 billion tons of copper gold mineralization. And then you come to, we're just kind of at the southern end of this chain of mineralized porphyries. And within Pihili, the showing actually that we're focused on is called Zambawaiku. It's an indigenous name, and we've got good gold showings, and we've got strong copper grades. 0.4, 0.5%, in some places 0.6, 0.7. Gold is there as well. This is the stuff that you're looking for. So we've got a 5,000 meter drill campaign. We'll be putting in 500, 800 meter holes, and we'll be drilling this out over the course of the remainder of 2020. And this is really exciting stuff. This is how you make big companies and big discoveries.
When you say you're not spending a penny. You're fully carried for 20%, aren't you?
It's actually slightly better than that. We get paid because our team we get a management fee for doing the exploration, and actually they're using one of our drill rigs, so we'll get paid for that as well. Yes, we're carried for 20%. We're not carried. Remember that on Curipamba, we're carried all the way through to production on 25%. For Pihili, we are carried 20% all the way through to a construction decision. But as you know, these big porphyries, when you drill them out, it's tens of millions of dollars and several years. So we're quite comfortable to be carried 20% all the way through to a construction decision.
To that point, okay. Well, look, Merlin, thanks for running through that. The one small request from you: we did a report on your company about a month ago. It would be great, and I think we've had a few requests from people to look at each of the 3 wholly owned projects and just try to understand those a little bit better, in a bit more detail about what what you're trying to discover. And you talked about the decision making when you spoke to us previously. You're going to have to pick one and focus your efforts on that, or more of your efforts on that. So is that something that you'd be prepared to kind of join us and talk us through?
Of course. We can do that any way you like. We'll find out the best method to communicate those 3 projects and our thinking behind that. But yeah, of course, absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thanks very much, Merlin, and thanks for picking up the phone today. Great to obviously speak to you. Hope you are well, and we shall speak to you soon.
Okay, thanks a lot.